Hello everyone, welcome to KTHM e-learning center. Today we are going to learn about ethnobotany. It's subject of our certificate course. This is our second lecture. In previous lecture we have studied about connection between ethnobotany and modern medicine. So connection between ethnobotany and modern medicine nowadays is very important topic. Why? Because we are deriving secondary metabolites or we can say active principles out of herbal medicine, use it for the modern medicine. So we can't directly use herbal medicine because we don't know the actual content or constituents of the herbal medicine. What we use in herbal medicine or in botany is we use the grounded powder or flower of a particular plant part like stem, etc. So we don't know the actual content of that particular plant or that particular remedy, and we don't know which is active principle of that particular plant is acting against the particular disease. So to study this, we have to connect the ethnobotany with modern medicine. We have to go through chemical analysis, we have to go through different tests so that we can approve a particular plant to having particular active principle which we can use against the particular disease. So finding out the active principle, secondary metabolite or bioactive compound, more specifically we can say, it is important to study the modern medicine in the view of ethnobotany. So in yesterday's lecture, we have already studied two examples. Now we are going to study two more examples of the plants which we are nowadays using in modern medicine. So learning objective of today's lecture, to learn about the plants which are used in today's medicine or we can say modern medicine. Agenda of today's lecture, to understand uses of Trichoepis zeylanicus and Vidania somnifera in the modern medicine. So first is Vidania somnifera, which is popularly known as Ashwagandha. This ashwagandha or common name is winter cherry English. So ashwagandha is popularly known as ashwagandha because the root of ashwagandha smells like horse. Okay, so because of its smell of the root like horse, it is called as ashwagandha. It is member of family Solanaceae. So Solanaceae is very popular family. The many plants of Solanaceae family are proved to be medicinal in activity. So, for example, most popular example is Solanum xanthocarpum also, which is anti-cancer agent. So, morphology of Vidania or Ashwagandha, it is erect, herbaceous woody. It is grayish in color, and it is an evergreen shrub. It is having long tuberous root. As we are using the roots for medicinal activity, we use the powder of for the medicinal activity. It is having very short stems, oval shape, and leaves which are having petioles, and flowers of this ashwagandha, they are greenish color. Okay, they are not colorful, they are always green in color. So all the plant part like roots, seeds, berries, all are proved to have a medicinal property, and they are used in daily tonic. So this Vidania somnifera or we can say ashwagandha is proved a tonic, and all the plant parts, roots, berries are used as a or they are having medicinal property. So in this particular plant or ashwagandha or Vidania somnifera, 29 different metabolites are derived. So these are obviously secondary metabolites which acts in defense of plant. So these 29 metabolites, they are very popular in having the medicinal activity. So out of that we are going to study few. So the biologically active chemical compound or bioactive compounds of this Vidania somnifera or ashwagandha is alkaloids, steroidal lactones such as vidaferins, glycosides such as saponins, and many ethanoids. Okay, we are going to study it one by one. So all these bioactive compounds are proved to have the anti-inflammatory, anti-swelling, anti-tumor, anti-stress, and antioxidant, immunomodulatory, hemopoietic, and rejuvenating property. So anti-tumor as in it is having the anti-cancer activity. Okay, so it can defend cancer. It is anti-stress. So uh, from 3000 years, last 3000 years, the Indian Ayurveda or Indian people are using Dania somnifera ashwagandha as an antidepressant. Okay, so this is popular plant which in Ayurveda for stress management. This plant is popular for the stress management. Immunomodulatory, it provides the immunity, it modulates the immunity, and also it is having a rejuvenating property. This plant is also used for arthritis, potent infertility, amnesia, anxiety, cancer. So, somnifera, when we say Vidania somnifera, it is related to insomnia. That is, it is a disease in which people can't sleep. So, if the powder of the root, this particular root is provided, they can have a sound sleep. It's not a, like sleeping pill, but it is having soothing and calming properties. Okay? So this ashwagandha is also popularly used for neurodegenerative diseases, or we can say diseases related to nervous system, and also cardiovascular diseases, heart diseases. So as I've told you earlier, it is used for the neurodegenerative diseases. The most what we can say dangerous neurodegenerative diseases are Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. So for this, ashwagandha have proved to be a very effective remedy for Parkinson disease and Alzheimer's disease. So vidanamides in ashwagandha fruits are reported to be effective in neurotoxicity. If we have any kind of neurotoxicity or any disease related to neurons, we can use the powder of the berries with expert advice. So Vidaferin A, it is having a strong anti-cancer activity. This is recent discovery actually that Vidaferin A is bioactive compound of the Vidania somnifera or ashwagandha. It is having strong anti-cancer activity. So this plant is also like very popular plant in Ayurveda. Our tribes, our ancient people, they are using it since 1,000 years. It acts as an antidepressant, stress management. It acts as an energetic agent, or we can say it provides extreme energy when we consume it. Next plant is Trichophus zelanicus. This plant is very interesting plant, very interesting. So actually, Trichophus zelanicus, it is uh, of family Dioscoriaceae, and again Dioscoriaceae family is also having many genus which are proved to be medicinal activity. So this Trichophus zelanicus, these are consumed by Kani tribal community. Kani Adivasis from Agastya Hills of Kerala. They use this particular plant and they call it as a Arogya Appacha. They call it as a Arogya Appacha, and they call green for health or greener of health. They call this plant as green of health. म्हणजे something which is green and providing the health and energy. So there is one institute called All India Coordinated Research Project of Ethnobiology, AI, AICRPE at Trivandrum. So senior scientists, junior scientists, and students were climbing the hills of Agastya, and these few Adivasi belonging to Sani tribal community, they were accompanying them for the way or to climb the hill. So this particular group observed that the Kani tribal people, they are eating something. They are eating the berries of, or they are eating the few blackish color fruit the way in the path. So they asked out of curiosity to the tribal people that what you are eating. So first they hesitated that we won't tell our secret to you. It's our secret. We can't tell this secret to outsider. But after convincing and convincing, they told them that this is Arogya Apacha of Arogya Apacha. And this provides way too much energy. Even if this Kani tribal community men, they don't eat for several days and they only consume this fruit, they can survive and they can do all their works and they can climb and they can do everything just by consuming and not having any kind of fruit. So this was very interesting discovery. So the student, they asked for the fruit to eat. So it was having a leathery cover, and inside it was having something which is nut like almond. So when they ate it, it was having very nice taste and very nice aroma, and they feel immediately very energetic after consuming that particular fruit. They felt very energetic. So they were surprised to know this, and they studied this further. So this plant is a small perennial herb having very slender stem, 5 to 25 centimeter, and they arise from a rhizome. They have an underground rhizome, and it is having one terminal leaf on each stem. The long petiole, it is having the long petiole which appears like the stem, or it appears like continuation of stem, but it is the petiole. Leaves are dark brownish in color or grey purple, and they are broadly triangular, like the arum leaf, like the aru leaf. Flowers of this particular plant, they are bisexual. They are having perianth. That means they don't have they don't have sepals and petals separate. They have common whorl, which is perianth, and it is dark brown, and stamens are six with anther. So fruits, this is very important. Why? Because tribal people, they consume fruits of this particular plant. Fruits are somewhat like winged. They are have winged, triangular, and indehiscent. Again, they are leathery, and the tender fruits or immature fruit are sweet to taste and have pleasant flavor and aroma. But on ripening, it becomes hard and stony and unpalatable. That is, it doesn't taste good after ripening. Family, this particular plant belongs to family Dioscoriaceae. So many members of this family, they are proved to be having medicinal property. For example, Dioscorea, one of the member of the Dioscoriaceae family is proved to be having contraceptive properties. So this particular plant have not that haven't found any too many biocompounds yet, but they have found the phenolic compounds, alkaloids, flavonoids, tannins, terpenoids, steroids, glycosides, and saponins. So they are still working on the different biocompounds of this particular plant. So this is very interesting plant, which is so both of this plant ashwagandha and this Arogya Appacha, both were proved to have the energetic properties, or they provide the energy. So while making the energy bars, or while consuming the energy bars, we can also think about this particular plants, and we can also imply this particular knowledge to energy bars, or we can say energy tablets nowadays. So now we are going to study the role in modern medicine, role of ethnobotany in modern medicine. So what ethnobotany provides to the modern medicine is very important. Is it provide different bioactive compounds. Okay, so we have, as we have already discussed, we have 3 lakhs of trees, which are producing many bioactive compounds or many active principles, secondary metabolite, which have the activity. So we can use all this traditional knowledge, all this tribal knowledge, which our ancestors are using generation to generation, and we can study it. We can have research, and we can make new drugs and new medicine out of it. So, as this bacteria and virus, they are getting resistant, they are getting immunity day by day against the diseases. We have to have the, this is necessary, or this is very necessary to have the new drugs or new inventions coming, so that we can tackle to this resistance or this immunity of bacteria against particular antibiotics and against particular viral agent. We have to find more and more antibiotic agents and antiviral. So by studying this particular knowledge provided by ethnobotany or tribals or ancestors, we can find out the different medicine, different sources of particular drugs, different bioactive compounds. Be very convenient to have the drug discovery. So, what is role of ethnobotany in development of society? So, actually, it is having a very important, because first thing is we can develop our tribe community. Uh, we can make them more educated. We can generate a revenue for them. We can create new income sources for them by studying the ethnobotany. When they are living in the same place, but still they can earn more. So our tribal peoples, they're having a great deal of information. They have too much knowledge about all the surroundings, all about their plants, all about their food, shelter, everything natural and herbal. So we can use this knowledge for our well-being, for our good health. So ethnobotany is actually interdisciplinary. It includes everything: medicine, pharmacology, study of ecology, study of surrounding. Okay, so it is interdisciplinary nature, and it is having too much scope for study. So in India, we have over 200 tribes, sub-tribe, and clans. So we are going to discuss only about the Maharashtrian tribes. We have 200 in the country. In Maharashtra, we have Bil, Dhaka, Danwar, Dodia, Da, Halba, or we can say Holba, Kokna, Kollam, Kori Mahadev, Kori Malhar, Korku, Maria, Pardhan, Pardhi, Pathwa, Thakur, and Vari. So we have this much of tribes, sub-tribes, and clans in Maharashtra, and everybody is belonging to different place, different forest, and all they are having the different knowledge of their medicines or their herbal remedies. So we can collect, we can document all this knowledge so that we can find out new drugs, new medicines for us. So how we can use this particular knowledge to develop the society? So these tribal people, they are having the different knowledge of the or what we can say, they have having different resources for different requirements or different needs. They do not only we the botany is not just about the medicine, but it is about everything, like what they eat, what they use as a medicine, what they wear, everything, which when it comes to the tribal knowledge and herbal remedies. So we can study about the edible, like ran bhaja. We can use the wild edible plants, what they eat day to day life, what kind of tubers, what kind of rhizomes they use, what kind of fruits they use, what kind of meat they eat, milk, etc. And we can also make it available in city area. Ethnomedical, obviously, all the herbal remedies they use, all the plants are surrounding them, they use for the different diseases. We can study them. We can study different fiber yielding plant, oil yielding plant, or we can oil yielding berries, oil yielding nuts, which are tribal people are using their day to day life. We can use different dye yielding plants like spathodia, so that we can make new organic dyes for sustainable environment. Can use the knowledge of new plant which the tannin, and also last one is most important and most what we can say popular nowadays in the exhibition. All these tribal people, they provide basketry and brooms, etc. uh, they make they make them at their forest, and they come to sale into the exhibition. Okay, so this basketry and brooms are also a very important source in generating revenue or for income. So these can develop a tribal community by this, but by knowledge or by researching the ethnobotany. So we have studied two examples, ashwagandha and arogya apacha. But in according to in with this, I expect you to study more plants which are around you, or you can ask your grandmother, great grandmother, or grandfather, that what kind of herbal medicine, kind of plants they for their remedy. For example, around we have Adusada thoda vesica, we have the gulwel, okay, Tinospora, and again we have tulsi. But these are very common plants which we use for different remedies at our home. But you can search, you can research more, and we can collect information of more and more plants. For example, Murur Sheng. Okay, for newly born babies, we provide what we can say a mixture of different plants and different constituents like badam, murur, etc. So you can also study on that particular. In India, we have too much of remedies. We have too much of plant. Even our spices and condiments, all spice or every spice in our kitchen is having different medicinal activity. Every condiment in our kitchen is having different medicinal activity. Each of it is having a medicinal activity for digestion, for analgesic properties, for lactation, everything. For lactation, we use shatavari, asparagus, right? For lactating mother, we provide them the powder of asparagus root. So we have this different or too many plants. We can collect the knowledge of it, and we can store it. We can keep it so that we can use it in modern medicine. This has different secondary metabolites. Also, we can provide this in the next generation. Also, I know a plant which is Solanum angui. This the berries of this plant, they look as a brinjal, small brinjal. So these berries are eaten by the tribal people in Trambakeshwar. They are also proved to be a very having anti-cancer activity and highly medicinal. Also, Solanum xanthocapum is also a medicinal plant used in Nashik area. It is having anti-cancer, antibiotic activities, antiviral activities. So, too many plants in our area are used as medicinal plant or medicinal properties. Also, plants in our garden, for example, insulin. plant. We also use that particular plant to lower the sugar level. Okay, so we can study these different plants in your garden, in your surrounding, the forest nearby you. Okay, or Devrai sacred groves nearby you, and you can study and you can make a report out of it. So summary of today's lecture is, we have studied the example of different plants which can use or which we use in the modern medicine, active principles of those particular plants. We have studied the role of ethnobotany in modern medicine and the development of society or development of tribes. So thank you so much. So if you have any queries, you can always find me at my email ID shwetaburade@kthmcollege.ac.in. Also, we have our Google Classroom for ethnobotany. Thank you so much.